UFC Fight Night, Imavov versus Borralho. UFC France takes place in a couple hours. I'm going to be picking every fight on the card. We're starting with Sean Bannon versus Sam Hughes. I have Sam Hughes in this one by decision. I think Bannon probably has more finishing potential, but I also think that Sam Hughes, when it goes to a decision, just has the ability to get the win, and I think she's going to get the win. Andreas Gustafsson versus Renat Fakhretdinov. I'm going with Andreas Gustafsson to win this fight. It's a big step up in competition, but I think he can do it because Renat, all of his fights go to pretty competitive decisions, and I think he can lose a lot of them, but not a lot of them, but a few of them, like the Liao fight, he can definitely lose. I think Liao won that fight 3-0, but Andreas Gustafsson doesn't really slow down. He won't really let this be a close decision win, I think, for Renat. Renat's probably going to have to catch Andreas coming in. He does get kind of recklessly, Gustafsson, but I'm going to go with him to win this fight. He looks to beat opponents down in the clinch. I'm going to say a decision win from Gustafsson, maybe even a finish later on in the fight. Brad Tavares versus Robert Brychek. I'm going with Brad Tavares in this fight because Robert Brychek, it's been a while since we've seen him, and lost his debut to Ihor Potierio. That's who it was. Not the best look in my opinion. Going with Tavares. Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. Both really tall welterweights. 6'3" Patterson, 6'5" Waters. The reach, I think, was pretty similar, but let me get this up. 77-inch reach for Waters, 78-inch reach for Patterson, so Patterson has a reach advantage. I'm going to go with Sam Patterson, though, because Trey Waters, I haven't seen too much of him grappling. He had a good fight with Billy Ragoff, but again, I don't remember any grappling. Maybe I'm not remembering the right fight, but I'm going to go with Sam Patterson by submission in this fight. And he is getting consistent finishes, I think. 4 finishes in a row. 2 KOs, two subs. Harry Hardwick versus Cowboy Fernandez. I don't know too much about Harry Hardwick. I know he's English, and it's his debut. He's filling in for SCM. I'm going to go with Cowboy Fernandez to win this fight because although Garam Kutatsiladze didn't look too great in his fight with Cowboy, I think it's still impressive to beat Garam like that. So I'm going to go with him to win this fight. Fernandez by decision. Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. Delija is a little bit more experienced, which is a pretty important part in having your Tybura test, but I will go with Tybura, much more proven heavyweight. And we've seen this a lot of times, but I think you can pick Delija to win this fight, but I'm going to go with Tybura, probably by decision after Delija has a good first round. Umar Sy versus Brenson Ribeiro. Finishing potential is probably got to be Ribeiro, but I think Umar Sy is probably going to get this one done by decision. He'll probably do a lot more than he did against Alonzo Menifield. He did nothing in that fight. It was pretty much a staring contest. Very bad fight. But I'm going to go with Umar Sy by decision. He could probably mix in takedowns. I think the kicks will also work. And he does have a longer reach than Brenson, I think, by 2 inches. An 83-inch reach. But I'm going to go with Umar Sy by decision. William Gomez versus Robert Ruchala. William Gomez losing to Hyder Emil wasn't the best look after Jose Delgado knocked out Hyder Emil in 40-something seconds. But I think he can win this fight by decision. It's in France. Maybe he's going to have a better weight cut. Usually has a tough weight cut. And he is a pretty tall featherweight at 6 feet. And the teeps are good. And not a very explosive style, but he's probably going to be looking to stay on the back foot and outland Robert Rucella to get to a decision win. Axel Sola versus Reese McKee. Kind of a tough fight to pick because Axel Sola, he's been here and there. He is undefeated. He's 10-0, but what I'm saying by here and there is he hasn't really fought the highest level of competition, not UFC level. He has been tested in the French promotions, and Reese McKee actually is pretty decent in moments. He can be beaten. I'm not saying he's unbeatable, but I think he will win this fight. I know Axel Sola, he could come out looking to deliver in his debut. I can see that, but with Reese McKee, I don't really think he can be used as a layup in a debut. So I'm going to go with him probably by, I think the fight can get chaotic. I might say TKO. Something like first or second round. Borralho Oki versus Mason Jones. I'm going to pick Mason Jones to win this fight. I was considering Borralho Oki because he can look pretty good. He's kind of explosive, but he doesn't really have too much power in his hands. He does. He has some power in his hands, but I don't think he's going to finish Mason Jones, who is a tough guy. He has a pretty good chin, and I don't see a knockout from Oki. Jones could probably win this fight with grappling or by stand-up. Oki was piecing up Paul Craig and then shot a takedown, got guillotined to sleep. And Mason Jones, he had a brawl with Jeremy Stevens. He did use grappling in the last round to play safe, but can't really blame him. I think he's probably going to mix this one up to a decision. Yeah, I'm going to go with Mason Jones 29-28. Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. I'm a Paul Craig enjoyer, but again, I have to pick Bukauskas to win this fight because he's at an upwards trajectory at this point in his UFC career. He got cut off the Khalil Rountree TKO injury where it was an oblique kick to the knee, and yeah, that got him cut, but then he got some Cage Warriors wins, and now he's on a free fight win streak. The decision with Ion Cutelaba was very close. He could have lost that one, but I think he can also win that one. Paul Craig, the last one was Adolfo Bellato. It was a no contest. He upkicked Bellato, and then Bellato faked being knocked out cold, and then it was a no contest. I'm gonna go with Bukauskas to win this fight probably by knockout early. Craig, he has some tricks up his sleeve, like the body kick. That's what he's notorious for. But grappling also could probably test Bukauskas. Like, we know the triangle threat. Maybe Craig gets a triangle, but I will go with Bukauskas to win this fight by early knockout. Our co-main event is Benoit Saint Denis and Mauricio Rufy. I have Rufy in this one by first round KO. He hasn't been all that tested. He was slowing down against James Lontop, but James Lontop did miss weight by, I think it was 11 pounds. It was a catch weight, and he still missed weight. And he was a lot bigger. And it was a third round that Rufy was kind of gassed. But I don't even think this goes to a third round. Not even close. I think this ends in first. Benoit kind of trudges in. He's pretty slow and predictable, I think. Kind of just attacks, just goes forward, not too much use of footwork. But he does have a good left body kick. And he is good with the elbows and clinch. But I think Rufi can honestly time a straight right hand and probably put Benoit away early. So I will go with Mauricio Rufi by knockout in the first round over BSD, who maybe could straight away shoot for the takedown, but early on I don't feel like he'll have a chance to mix it up as easily. So I will go with Rufi by early KO. Now we're to the main event, Nasruddin Imavov versus Caio Borralho. This is actually a tough fight to pick. I will go with Imavov, though. Just to end the suspense. But I think it is a very competitive fight. I know he knocked out Israel Adesanya Imavov, but he was kind of getting picked apart before that. Got all his takedown stuffed. He did land some nice shots, though. But this is probably going to be a striking match as well. Both can mix in grappling, but it's going to be pretty tough against each other. And if somebody's going to have to make it a grappling fight, it's probably going to have to be Caio, which he could, because Brendan Allen did spend a whole round on top of Nasruddin Imavov. But does Caio do that? I don't really think so. It's probably going to be a lot more competitive, back and forth in striking. Caio Borralho does fight pretty well with southpaw advantage, and his lead hand is very dangerous, as well as his backhand. Imavov, pretty counter-oriented, but does blitz forward and throw combinations. He does have some weakness to leg kicks. I will say that, though. But I think he's going to be faster than Caio, lighter on his feet. Power, I'd say, is around the same. That's what I'd say. But with Imavov's precision and speed, I don't think he's going to knock Caio out, but I think he can land the better shots and probably get a decision win. And after all, it is in France, so you kind of have to lean Imavov, even though he might be an underdog in this fight. Haven't checked the odds, but those are my full card projections. Thanks for watching, and I will recap this fight card once it ends. Thank you.